One thing you should know is you should be flexible, and the markets change. You
Mm,
don't be stuck. You say that I know Java and I will look for job or Java. That's not how it works. It's totally the
yeah.
opposite. You see what the client's asking for, and then you learn it, and then go look for job.
Welcome, everyone, to the Tech Guide podcast, where we give actual advice to those that are wanting to break into tech or looking for their next gig. We have Muhammad on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, Muhammad. Super, super excited to have you on today.
Yeah, me too. Hi, everyone. I hope it's going to be beneficial to anyone who's trying to look for a job remotely. I'll share with everybody my experience, my journey, and where am I right now and what I'm doing. Yeah, nice to meet you, Ryan, and thanks for hosting me.
Of course. Thank you for being here. And before we get how you got to where you are now, let's
Yes,
rewind the clock a little bit and go back to high school in 2003, where you
yeah,
first start your coding journey. Take us
yeah.
to high school 2003. Like, do you remember the first time like actually coding or your first experience with
Yes.
technology?
So it actually started way far before that. I used to love video games. I remember even, when kids they are fighting, they usually fight for a bike. I was fighting for a video game. Yeah, that's my enjoyment. I just sit in front of my video game and play games. Then when I joined my high school now, we had the subject about computer programming. By that time, back on time, Visual Basic was the thing. Like it was something new. It's a new tech.
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, instead of me playing video games using my computer, why not I try to make a game? And then I remember asking my dad for a book to learn how to program. But because he don't like me
Yeah.
sitting in front of my computer 24 hours doing nothing except just playing games, then he kind of was against it. He said, okay, if you want it, just go save and then go buy for yourself whatever you want. So I said, okay, let me save and buy the book. There was a book to learn Visual Basic and database. So I went for it and I bought the book and started to learn how to program since that time.
Mm,
Uh, and the school also, they helped me, my teacher, so that I have the eager to learn about programming. Then, okay, he helped me out. And this is where I started to write my first line of code. And I really fall in love on coding
that's
and
sweet.
see things, yeah, changing the UI and see how it works. It interests me so much. Since this time until now, I'm just writing code. I still play games, but not but not as usual as before. Yeah, but this is where I start to have some thoughts. What is a for loop? What is if condition, and so on. Um, then after that, I joined. Definitely, I decided, okay, I will learn how to code professionally. So I joined my college and I joined engineering school. So I have BS in computer engineering, and during my study, or so I was exploring different programming language, how things are going on that world. It was just something new to me, and by that time there was no many experiences, materials. It's
Yeah.
not like right now there is, yeah, it's not that hard to learn programming, but by this time it's really a challenge.
Interesting.
Yeah, but this how my beginning to learn how to program.
That's
Yes.
interesting. Yeah, I think it's always cool to start with like the origin story about like how you actually fell in love with one video games, but two computer science and like computer
Yeah,
engineering, software engineering, all that good stuff. And so that was really like the beginning of it. And like now, like you're based in Kenya right now. You're in
mhm.
Egypt. You're working with U.S. clients though on some contract works. Let's start there. I mean, tell
Mhm.
us about your coding experience and finding a job in the United States while you're based over there.
Yes. I actually started to work as a full-time software engineer when I was at the college
Mm,
back on 2008. This when I started to work. I found a full-time job.
yeah.
It was definitely in a startup, small company. Then I started my career in around 2002. Sorry, 2012. I decided, okay, I will leave the company and I start my own company. that was change in my career, which I said, okay, I don't like to be employed by a company and I work for them. No, let me pick my own projects and then I work as a freelancer. I control
Yeah.
my time and so on. This very nice dreams for every software engineer, developer, anyone who just started his career. He would love to have his own business, but I failed basically. Okay, we pick one project, we were not able to deliver. We did not have enough experience. I was working with one of my best friends. We started a company. We start to market about a company, yeah, and we find a project, but we failed to deliver. Then I said, okay, I don't have enough experience yet to pick a project and finish it and get paid for that.
And how old were
Uh,
you at this time? May I ask?
Sorry.
How old were you at this time?
By that time, 2012, I think I was around the 20s, 21,
Okay.
maybe. To, yeah, that time. I can't really remember exactly, but I was so young. Yeah, yeah, and I did not have even experience about how even to work and communicate with people and uh, all those work experience apart from coding, they are really important, which I did not have them yet. I thought that
Yeah.
it's that easy to just make a startup and then move forward and then become Bill Gates 2 or Mark 2. But it's not that easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I decided, let me go back to the office. I start to look for another job, and then I said, let me be enough experience to be ready to have my own company or have my own business or whatever I want to do next. Then I start to search for local companies. Go through the interview process, and that's again a very interesting thing. When I was thinking that I have enough skills to find a job and jump in a job and so on. But when I go the interviews, they ask me things I don't know what to answer.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, like even very simple Java questions. By this time, I was interested in Java, but I really don't know what to answer, and there are a lot of knowledge which I don't have. And this important lesson, like, do you think that okay, I have enough experience or not experience, or I have enough knowledge to jump in a
Yeah.
job, but it's really not the case. And to get over that, I was always going applying for a lot of jobs, going for as many interviews as I can. I ask the interviewers, like, from where you get those questions? How can I learn about what you are like examining me or asking me? And then I go home and I start to learn so that I can pass next interview. One of the companies I joined, their business model is to big clients from Europe, from Canada, from US, and we work for those clients. And they introduced for me that okay, you can find a job online for a client in the US and Canada, but there are some minimum requirements you have so that they can accept you in the job.
Yeah.
And yeah, from there I start to think, okay, what skills do I need so that I can land this job? It's similar to if you want to pass an exam, then you go and see, okay, what topics exactly this exam cover, and I go study about those topics, and then I come and I try to pass the exam. I will not pass the first time. I will fail until I do it. I just want to mention that it is not an easy process to find a job remote. Your skills and mindset is totally different when you find a 24, not 24, 8/7. Let me say,
Yeah.
yeah, 8 hour 7, 5, 8/5. Sorry,
8 to 5. 8 to 5.
yeah,
Um,
8/5. Yes.
And I do
Uh,
want to talk about the contract work that you have gotten really since then, because you've worked with like GoPuff, IBM, Rivian. Just out
yes.
of talk to me about like working as a freelancer, doing contract
Sure.
work in software engineering. What's like one thing that someone should know before they do it?
Yeah, one thing you should know is you should be flexible, and the markets change. You
Mm,
don't be stuck. You say that I know Java and I will look for a job with Java. That's not how it works. It's totally the
yeah.
opposite. You see what the client's asking for, and then you learn it, and then go look for a job. So by that time, I know Java because Java was booming, and then I start to shift to know Node, and then Angular, React Native, and that's extra effort you should do. That is, this is a very important, like, difference between working in an office and working remote, that you are looking what the client need, you learn it, and then you jump on a job. uh, I can tell, like nowadays, I start to look for a client, and there is a lot of Golang jobs around. So I start to
Yeah.
learn Golang so that I can find a job. If I only search for the skills I know, this is not going to work out.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting perspective that like once if you're like in a job where like you're paid like full-time salary or whatnot, like you are really specialized in that. But like once you are freelancing, it really just depends like what the market's like demanding right now. I think that's
Exactly.
a really interesting perspective, especially for a software engineer.
Yeah, exactly. And it is very dynamic. Like uh, Docker was introduced some years back. Then they start to talk about Kubernetes, and then
Yeah.
they start to talk about, yeah. Then they start to code infrastructure as code. You have to cope with all those concepts, understand them. Programming languages. Back on time, we had Android Studio, and then iOS. We were using Swift. Now,
Yeah.
yeah, most of the requirements now using React Native. If you don't know React Native, you'll not find a mobile job, or they are not that much, and so on. Almost every year we have different demand. You have to
Yeah.
learn new skills so that you can find a job.
And how would you so a question that comes to mind here is like, yeah, there's like a ton of different coding languages that like I need to know. I need to know React, Java, Python, all these. But our employee or people that are looking for freelancers, how much do they value past experiences with this, or how do you get around that if you know Python but you don't have experience, actual work experience with Python?
I will say, okay, personally, what I usually do is you have to show your past experience, that you have experience on freelancing and delivering in general. I am
Yeah.
able to deliver a job. That counts. Then it comes to a specific scale. You had to have either like your GitHub, and then you start to
Yeah.
publish projects on GitHub, or you have your own social media accounts which you start to publish your knowledge, your work. That's how people will give you kind of accountability. And definitely you have to have certificates. You publish your certificates. This is important to show that you are learning. This is my progress on learning. Those are some samples of my work, and so on. And that is something you have to do it by yourself. Not
Yeah.
somebody ask you to do it. I have to go get a certificate from any education platform uh, and publish that certificate so that clients can see it and start to come to you, not the other way around, not waiting for the
Yeah.
client to ask you and then you go. No, it's a bit different concept and different perspective. Again, you focus on the market, what the client want, and then you go
Yeah.
do it. Yes.
So I'm curious now. So let's just say you're interested in freelancing as a software engineer. Heck yeah, like I have all these certificates. But now it actually comes to applying for these jobs and identifying
Yes.
opportunities. What platforms do you use to find jobs? There's a ton out there, Upwork, Fiverr, a
Yes.
lot. But is there one that you use the most?
This is something which have been developing on, especially after COVID. Before
Yeah,
COVID, we have limited number of freelancer platforms, and they have a lot of rules, high competitions.
yeah,
After COVID, uh, the layout it have changed. Right now, you find a lot of companies which they hire contractors for US companies.
for
I'm
sure.
talking here about, yeah, like something like they took the model for TopTal, especially TopTal, and they start to mock it. The most known platforms is Turing, Andela. There is a lot of them, but those are the where you will find job. They have a lot of clients, and then they can give you a job. And to get into the network, it's not a high barrier.
Yeah,
I mean, you can pass the exams. There are some platforms they are really difficult. You cannot
yeah,
pass it. You cannot. Yes, it's not that easy to pass it, and there is a lot of high competitions.
it,
But the downside is the salaries are not, or the rates are not that high. So
yep,
yeah, you get job. I will not say it's easy, but okay, reasonable effort, but the rates are not that high. But if you compare it to the local rates on my on in Egypt, for example, it's better. It
Yeah,
could
for
reach
sure.
sometimes 20%, 30% higher. Plus, in my country also, we don't pay tax for foreign income. So if
No,
you
that's
add
good. I didn't
all
know
that
that.
together, yeah, combined, then the rates are fine for us.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
And that's why I think U.S. companies have so much started to outsource really since COVID as well, is because it's just a cheaper
yes.
in so many other countries. And if you are there, like why not? But I do want to keep kind of going down this funnel here of like the application process of like you identified certificates, you know the platforms now. What are some of the ways that you could stand out in like this application process?
Yeah, the most important, you have to have basics of computer science and programming. You have to know algorithms and data structure.
Yeah.
If yeah, you have to go learn how to code, how
Mhm.
to yeah. I will not suggest specific platform, but there is many of them to teach you
Yeah,
how to pass algorithms and data structure exams. This is the most important thing, and you have to spend a lot of effort on that. It could reach for 1 year, 2 year. I'm not talking about few weeks. You have to really be
yeah,
strong, and you have to be able to pass any vetting process. Uh, the rest you can handle it. For example, when you are in an interview to show your experience, this is something you can talk about what you know, and most probably you'll find a client. But
yeah,
if you don't know how to write code, how to pass algorithms, data structure, coding challenges, it will be very difficult for you. And this is a skill you can gain. It look hard and difficult from outside, but when you really try to write code by yourself for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you will get used to it and you find okay,
for
it's
sure.
it's easy, yeah. And the algorithms, most probably there is known algorithms which we get to know it by time, and then yeah, you will easy pass the fitting. That's one thing. The other thing, if you don't have enough experience, most probably you will need to reduce your rates. Don't have a very high
For sure.
expectations for the rates. Yeah, you will need to reduce your rates. But that is something by time, by experience, the rates will start to higher. You will not even ask for high rates. The clients will give you what you
Yep.
deserve. Yeah, that's something to consider as well.
Yeah, I think that's super important note to hit on is like once you are starting out in contract work, what I would suggest really, and like what a lot of, as you just suggested, cut your rates in like half essentially just to get your first gig. And
Exactly.
slowly within a month or two, next thing you know, you're getting great rates at a rate that you like, very high rates. And so that's
Yes.
super important. I don't know how it works for software engineers, but for like marketing roles and a lot of roles too, what I would suggest when you are applying is to send like a Loom video, like, hey, like I'm checking out this job posting right now. Here's why I'd be a great fit XYZ. So that's another way that you can stand out to get your first job. Two powerful ways: cut your rates and send a Loom video to really catch their attention.
If you are new in that business, you will really have to be patient and do the effort. You should try once, twice, thrice, keep trying. I said, like, I spent 5 years to land my first job. It's a long journey, but it's worthy. Right now,
Yeah,
I'm sitting. Yeah, we can talk about me traveling, but I have the freedom to move around, and I'm not worried to lose any contracts. I know how to get my next contract.
yeah. How
Yes.
what how would you say, like in an easy 1 2 3 step, like why are you
Mhm.
so confident that like you could get your next contract? Is it through like experience or like just you know how it works now?
Yeah, okay. I think yes, it's kind of because of the experience, because I know uh, how to secure a contract, how to explain to the client what I have been working. Even if the market change, I know how to cope with the change. This is very
Interesting.
important. Yeah, I know how to cope with the changes in the market. I have been passing through that cycle once, twice, thrice. It was very stressful at the beginning, but right now it's enjoyable. I'm learning new stuff, new things. It's something interests me. Maybe some guys, they are a bit static. I know what I know. I don't want to add more in my toolbox. But for me, I love it. I like it. It's something
Yeah.
I really love. Yeah. So by time you will get to know what the clients need, how to figure it out, how to
Yep.
proceed with the interviews and so on.
Yeah, exactly. And this all really comes through experience. And so, yeah, so far we've talked about just certificates, how to get your first job, coming through experience. But I also love to talk about like pros of it as well. And you kind of alluded to one, like travel. But what are some other pros when it comes to being a
Yeah.
freelance software engineer?
Okay, I will say that the rates are higher than like office work.
Yeah.
That's something, yeah, you will see that the rates are higher because mostly we are paid on hours, which is higher, and you have your money on cash, so you can decide what to do with it. Like I say,
Yeah.
okay, this is for saving, this is for my retirement, this is for like day to day
Yeah.
activities and so on. That's something will give you more financial freedom. But there are some cons for that, but let's talk about that later. But yeah, you have your freedom to decide what to do with your money. That's one
Mm-hmm.
thing. The other thing is, as you mentioned, like traveling. It's a freedom for relocations, moving around. You are not connected to specific location, specific
Yeah.
place. Yeah, that is something also I love. Some maybe they are not, but I like to do that. There is also another thing is, as I mentioned, the knowledge. Like if you check my career and the skills I have, you will find I'm way far, like uh, have a lot of skills, more than if somebody he's just stuck on one company
For
or he's
sure.
moving. Yeah. Okay, I know Java, and then I go look for Java, or I know React, I go look for a job on React and so on. I can't do that. If I do that, I will not be able to find my next contract. So you have way far more skills than average person who is in job. If you like to learn new skills, this is something will really interest you.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
found that as an advantage. I really like it. And another thing is, you also, when you jump to a new contract, you see a new environment, new people, new this diversification on your experience. It's really something good.
yeah.
uh, yeah, I work for clients, for example, from Egypt, from Kenya, from Saudi Arabia, from Dubai, from different companies, different markets, different businesses. Yeah, that's something I really like. uh, yeah. Okay, also, it could be something bad, but you have a high competition. It push
For
you.
sure.
Yeah, it push you to your extreme. It could be stressful, but it push you to be a better person. I would say a better developer, better someone,
Oh,
someone better than, yeah. Even in your personal life, you'll feel a different. Like if we have a problem, okay, how can we solve it?
yeah.
Your mindset will not be like, let's create more problems. No, if we have an issue, how we can solve that. It
Yeah.
will change your personal life. Yeah, and now you become a contractor. Those are your clients. You are kind of your own. It's this your own business. It's not something like you are at office. They
Yep.
can't fire you that easy. Yeah, those are things which I feel they are. If you value those things, they will be on your side. Yes.
That's what I think is like so interesting about contract work is you really hit it on it. Like one, it there are a lot of financial reasons, but like also like you get to work with whoever you want, like whenever you
Exactly.
want, wherever you want. And like you said, you learn like a ton of skills with contract work because you're working with so many, like I just on so many different projects and new problems are always coming up. But you're also like interacting with so many different personalities where like you're just becoming like a better problem solver, a better leader yourself. So there are a ton of pros, but of course you have to talk about the cons as well. Like, can you give me like
Yeah.
two cons or the two biggest cons of contract work?
The cons the one which like really stressful is contracts will always end.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you cannot rely on one contract, or you can just take up contract and say, okay, that's the lifetime contract. That will never happen. two
Yeah.
years from now, 1 year from now, you have totally different clients. uh, I don't have any, since I started remote until now, I don't have any of my clients which I have been working with in the past. The maximum contract I have is almost for 3 years, maybe. And this was really long contract. So you will always, the contract will come to an end, which is very frustrated because you have to start to look for your new catch.
Yep.
Uh, But I can say that if you ask me how to get over that issue, try to have uh, one, two contracts. It is extra effort, but that's how you secure your job.
Yeah.
And you always look for a new contract. Always look for it. You don't sit and wait for the contracts to come. You have a contract on hand. You have to look for your next contract.
Yep.
Also, understanding the cycle for the business. Uh, when is the hiring happening? Because it's not the whole year you find people are hiring. It's just like the beginning of the quarter. Mostly end of like quarter four, there is a lot of layoffs happens. So by time you understand the cycle, where are you in the cycle, and
Interesting.
you always have to have cash on a side for emergency, so that you can get over that problem. But that is the biggest issue. Contracts always ends, and you have to be ready for that. Another issue, like as I mentioned, because those are your clients, you have to agree on everything they said. You can give your opinion, but you don't have power. You don't have much
Yeah.
power. Yeah, there are some guys they don't like that. I need to have some more power and so on. But yeah, but that is something you have to understand, that this is your client. It is not you are not employed. They are your
Yeah.
client. You do what they want. You can give advice. You can tell them, okay, that's what I saw in other projects, but you don't have the final say.
Yep.
That's something. Yeah, those are the two cons I discovered. Uh, there is one thing also I would like to mention. I know you said two, but that is something maybe you can find it as, yeah, con
Let's make
is
it
you don't have,
three.
yeah, you don't have a career path. Kind of like as I mentioned, you find your next client. Maybe the next client will hire you as a senior engineer. The client after will hire you as a tech lead. Then you come back to be a junior engineer. Like you don't have a specific ladder. You can, I am here, then I will step up to go there. Not really. So this is maybe something will not be nice for some guys, but yeah, that's one of the things we have here when you are talking about freelancing job.
For sure. And yeah, I feel like it is really just like your career aspirations. You want to be entrepreneurial? Great. Freelancing is probably a
Exactly.
good option for you. If you want to climb
Yes.
the corporate ladder, I would not suggest
Yeah.
freelance.
No, no.
But just last question for you as we wrap up here. You've traveled a ton. I'm just curious, like, how has travel, in a few quick words, like, how has that shaped you and like being able to like have the career growth that you've had with all these different positions and just your perspective on life?
Yeah, okay, that's a huge discussion. But in short, when you go see, like right now, I'm in Kenya. If you look at the beach, you here you enjoy the sea. You seen something new to you. That's something will open your mind, like seeing new places, seeing things which you can't see in somewhere else in the world, and also interacting with the locals. You find different mindset mentality, and you have to deal with it. You have to learn how to deal with
Yeah.
such. This if reflect it reflect in your work and how you deal with your clients, your folks, your colleagues around the world, and how you get things done. um, this is the biggest benefit from traveling. You see new places, you see new people, you face a lot of problems. I had faced a lot of issues during the traveling itself.
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, like you go there and then the hotel is not nice. They look like small issues, but they are you have to immediately, anything you do in your life, it reflects in your work. I work almost 12 hour per day, so
Yeah.
that I can handle those clients, which is one of the cons which we haven't mentioned. But yeah, you have to do extra effort. Uh, so we are, most of the time we are working. So anything you have in your personal life, it affect how your perspective to your work and your colleagues.
I love that.
So yeah, I see it like a great experience to have exposure. That exposure to other cultures, other places, other people, give you the strength in work to be able to communicate with the people around you in the work, in the company or contract whatsoever.
I love that.
That is the biggest advantage I found. Yeah. Plus, it's enjoyable. Well,
It's
definitely, you are
fun. It's
enjoying. Yeah,
travel.
it's fun. It's fun. Having
It's fun.
fun. Definitely, yes.
It's amazing. Well, this was a fun conversation to talk about software engineering, freelancing, getting your gig, how to stand out, all that great stuff. So, Mohammed, I want to thank you so much for this conversation. You were great to have on, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. I hope that we meet next time,
Yes.
Ryan. Yes.